name is Haley. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're gonna be making pork chops with this raspberry sauce, and I got this, what do you call this recipe off of All Recipes, and it's by Robin Seidel, I think her name is. But yeah, it's just pork chops with raspberry sauce, and I'm going to show you how to make that. And as like a little side, or whatever you call it, as like a side, I'm going to make, or I'm making right now, sweet potatoes. So I'm going to show you how to make the pork chop part. Okay, so for the rub that you're going to put on the pork chops, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of ground sage, 1 teaspoon of thyme leaves, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. And then you put it all in here, and this is what it looks like. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is put the seasoning on the pork chops. Boneless loin chops is what I'm using. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of the seasoning on top and rub it in. Flip it over and do the same thing. And I'm just gonna do this for all of them. Okay, so once you have them all seasoned, they're gonna look like this. And that's just the thyme, the parsley, the thyme, the sage, and salt and pepper. And now I'm about to cook them. Okay, so before you cook the pork chops, you're gonna set your oven to 200 degrees. And this is just gonna be to keep your pork chops warm whenever you're cooking it, because you're gonna have to do it in batches. If you're making more than like 3 pork chops, you're gonna have to make it in batches. So you're gonna use the oven at 200 degrees, and that's gonna keep them warm for you. And I forgot to say that I'm drinking some wine today. It is blackberry wine, and it's really good. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna melt the butter and the oil in the skillet, and then I'm gonna cook the pork chops for 4 to 5 minutes. And I'm only gonna flip them 1 time. So I'm gonna probably set the oven for like medium heat. I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, I already put a little bit of butter in, and now I'm gonna put in some canola oil. This is the canola oil. I'm just gonna pour some in. Yeah, like that much. And I'm gonna turn this on like medium-high heat and get it all melted, and then I'm gonna put the pork chops in. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the pork chops in. It's nice and hot. Yeah, about 3 at a time. And you cook it 5 minutes per side. So it's been about 4 minutes and I'm about to flip them. Now I'm going to let them cook for about 4 more minutes. Okay, so this is what they look like when they're all done. I'm just going to put them to the side and do the same thing with the rest of them. Okay, so now that the pork chops are done, I'm going to put them in the oven while I make the sauce. And the oven's set at 200 degrees. And that's just to keep them warm while I make the sauce. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, so for the sauce, you're going to need orange juice, raspberry jam, and vinegar. It says to use white wine vinegar, but I'm going to use just distilled vinegar because I didn't want to buy any. So it says to use 2 tablespoons of raspberry jam. So let's open this. Oh, it smells good. It says 2 tablespoons. Okay, 1. 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of the jam. 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Gotta open it. One, 2. And 2 tablespoons of the vinegar. Alright, and then I'm just going to mix this up with the fork. Just kind of mix it up a little bit. Got it mixed up a little bit. It says you're gonna bring it to a boil and cook for 2 to 3 minutes, and then it's gonna reduce and get a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, so we're over on the oven, or the whatever you call this, and I've got it on like medium heat, and I'm gonna bring it to a boil and then cook it for like 3 minutes. Okay, so it's starting to boil. I'm gonna set the timer for 3 minutes and I'm gonna put it on low heat. Okay, now I'm taking it off. And it says to just let it sit and it'll thicken up. So I'm gonna let it sit for a minute and see how it thickens up. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all done. This is the pork chop with the raspberry sauce on it. It's kind of like watery, but it looks good. And the sweet potatoes, I put a little bit of, what do you call this? Pecans on top. So I'm about to try it. Alright, I'm gonna taste it. Oh my god. It's really good. I say that like every time, but I swear this is so good. It's like perfect. As far as the pork chops and the sauce are concerned, dude, it's so good. I wouldn't change anything about the recipe. That is so good. And the sweet potatoes that are made, yes. Okay, if you want to have a side for this, I would recommend sweet potatoes, like mashed, with some pecans on top. This is so good. I didn't expect it to be so good, I swear. Everything that I make is fucking good, dude. It's so good. Thank you so much for watching my video. And if you make this, I hope that you like it as much as I did, because it was very good. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.